What if a single idea, born in the intense, closed-off world of an elite university, could shatter the walls of privacy and connect nearly 4 billion people? This is the story of Mark Zuckerberg, the programmer, the prodigy, and the permanent architect of our social lives. Born in 1984, Mark was a quiet kid from New York, but his mind was anything but. By age 12, he had already built a program called Zuckerberg, allowing the computers at his home and his father's dental office to communicate. While other kids were outside, Mark was inside, fascinated by the rules and potential of code. He was a programming prodigy who didn't just play games, he built them. This passion led him to Harvard in 2002. It was here, in the cold, competitive environment of the Ivy League, that the friction that would create a global empire began. He built a few projects, some brilliant, some controversial, but the big one was still ahead. In 2004, from his Kirkland House dorm room, Mark launched it. His idea was simple: a digital directory for Harvard students, a way to map the closed social connections of the campus. It wasn't a business yet, it was just a useful tool, but it grew like wildfire, first across Harvard, then the entire Ivy League. Mark saw the potential and made a decision that would define his life. He dropped out of Harvard and moved to Palo Alto. He was just 19 years old, and he had a world to connect. The company changed its name to just Facebook in 2005. Its early motto was legendary, and perhaps a little terrifying: move fast and break things. Mark operated with a singular, often ruthless, focus on growth. He believed that the value of the platform lay in its network effect. More people who used it, the more valuable it became. This single-minded focus was tested almost immediately. In 2006, Yahoo offered $1 billion to buy the company. $1 billion. The board and many employees wanted to sell, but Mark, he refused. He believed they had only achieved 1% of their potential. He famously said, "The goal isn't to just build a company, it's to build something that fundamentally changes how people live." It was a moment of supreme conviction, costing him several key early employees. But cementing his control and his vision, Facebook wasn't just growing, it was evolving. The launch of the news feed in 2006 was initially met with outrages, felt it was invasive. But Mark stood his ground. He knew this shift from static profiles to a dynamic stream of content was the key to daily engagement. He was right. Then came the like button, the mobile explosion, and the acquisitions of future giants like Instagram and WhatsApp. By the time Facebook went public in 2012, it was a global empire with Mark, barely 28, in control of its destiny. But as Facebook matured, the breaking things part of the motto started to take on a darker meaning. The ultimate paradox of connection is that it can also be exploited. The platform, designed to be open, became a vector for controversy. The sheer scale of Facebook's influence meant its vulnerabilities became global risks. We saw the rise of misinformation, foreign interference in elections, and the profound, sometimes harmful, effects of social comparison. The biggest test came with the Cambridge Analytica scandal, where millions of users' data were improperly harvested. Mark was hauled before Congress, his hoodie replaced by a suit and tie, forced to reckon with the unintended consequences of the empire he built. The world started asking a simple, frightening question. Did Mark Zuckerberg, the coding prodigy, understand the societal and ethical power he wielded? Critics argued that his move-fast mentality was incompatible with running a global public utility. The constant demand for more connection, more data, and more engagement seemed to override the responsibility to protect his users. Mark survived the crisis, but the company's reputation was fundamentally changed. The world was no longer simply in awe of his creation, it was afraid of it. In 2021, Mark made his boldest pivot yet. The company was rebranded as Meta Platforms. It wasn't just a name change. It was a declaration of war on the next era of computing. Mark believes that the next evolution of the internet won't be on a 2D screen, but in an immersive, shared virtual world, the metaverse. This is Zuckerberg going back to his roots, making a massive, expensive bet on an unproven technology. Exactly as he did with Facebook in 2004, he's pouring billions into this new digital reality, betting that augmented and virtual reality will fundamentally change how we work, play, and connect again. The shift is a clear move to control the next platform to ensure Meta is not reliant on Apple or Google, and to escape the constant scrutiny of its legacy social media products. But the central question remains, after building a social network that faced so many ethical challenges, can Mark Zuckerberg build an entire virtual world responsibly? The journey of Mark Zuckerberg is a study in relentless focus and supreme technical ambition. He is a genius who connected the world, but in doing so, created one of the most powerful and debated institutions in human history. Whether he builds a responsible virtual future or repeats the mistakes of the past, one thing is certain. Mark Zuckerberg remains the ultimate architect of our digital connection. What do you think of the metaverse? Is Mark Zuckerberg building the future or a high-tech distraction? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do unforget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the visionaries who are building our future.